welcome everybody to the first really big fight of the year, and we're kicking it off in grand style at the Mecca of boxing, Madison Square Garden. And on behalf of Top Rank, Banner Promotions, Thompson Boxing Promotions, and of course HBO, we'd like to welcome you today to the Mikey Garcia, Juan Carlos Burgos conference call. It was about a year ago to the date today that both gentlemen were fighting in world title fights in separate bouts on the same card, in the same venue, on HBO. As we all know, Mikey Garcia won his first world title at that fight, the WBO Featherweight Championship. And many thought Juan Carlos Burgos that same evening won the WBO Junior Lightweight title fight. But unfortunately, a couple of the judges disagreed, though fans and media alike did not, and thought Burgos should have had his hand raised. But needless to say, Juan Carlos will get another shot at the title next week, January 25, at Madison Square Garden, and it will be against the defending champion in his second world title reign as the junior lightweight champion. At Madison Square Garden, and it will be televised live on HBO at 9:45 p.m. East Coast and West Coast. Mikey, welcome to the call. What are your thoughts about returning to the Garden? Obviously, it was a special place last January. Can you tell us a little bit about the anticipation coming up for your title defense?
Hello. Yeah. Well, no, I'm happy to be back. It was a great, turnout last time, and I look forward to the 25th of this month. Next week, we'll be defending my title. I have a opponent in front of me that's not an easy opponent for anybody, and he deserves another title shot. Based on his achievements and accomplishments in the boxing ring. Came up short last time. A lot of people think he should have been the champion, so that's why we're giving him a world title shot, and it's gonna be a great show. Good show, good card. We got good fighters, and me and Burgos are gonna put on a great show for the fans.
Hey, I just wanted to know how important is it for you to fight in New York and also to do well here in terms of just your goals for being a top rated top attraction in boxing.
It's really good to be in the East Coast like New York. It's a big boxing venue. Great fights have been hosted there, and I actually want to make sure that fans get treated to another night of boxing where they can remember me as a fighter fighting in the arena, and the fans show a lot of support there. They're real boxing fans. They don't just show up to watch the main event. They're there to watch the whole night of boxing, and that's what's really great about it. The people in New York, and that just shows the boxing is alive and doing very well, and I'm very happy to be back.
Do you think that fighting here sort of raises your profile in terms of being a star in the sport? And I guess it's the old Frank Sinatra song, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, in terms of just being big on the boxing scene. I mean, Miguel Cotto, he fought at the Garden, sort of made the place his own, and a lot of guys have just sort of used the Garden as a springboard to sort of start them.
Well, I'm more happy with the way the fans show their love and support. The fans turn up and show up. That's the best feeling. Fighting in Madison Square Garden itself is always a big deal already to me. But if the fans don't show up, it doesn't mean as much. And I really love that the fans do come support and show their love and admire me as a fighter. So that's the best.
Mikey, when you fought on the card last year, when you won the featherweight title, and Burgos had the fight with Martinez, did you pay close attention to that when you were in your dressing room? I think it was a triple header, so you still had a little ways before your own fight.
I didn't get to see the fight, and I've only caught a couple rounds on video from that fight. I didn't watch the video, and that taking care of my dad and Robert. They're the ones that watch the video on my opponents. I just watched a couple of rounds here and there. Okay, so I was going to ask you if you had an opinion about the draw, but if you didn't watch the whole fight, you wouldn't know. But I guess you looked at what Martinez, or rather what Burgos has done in his career, and you look at this as a I know you take your fight seriously, but there's been so much conversation, not so much from you personally, but that here you are going to defend this title
against Burgos, you know, a quality fighter at 130 pounds, but you're in this division for the short haul. You know, you won the fight where you got the belt, defend the title against Burgos, and then you're moving on up after this fight. Can you talk about that chatter about the prospect that this will be one defense and then you're moving on to either 135 or 140 pounds? You know, Bob has talked about, you know, putting you in the mix for a Pacquiao fight down the road.
Well, there's definitely options and plans, you know, that they have in store, and you know, hopefully everything turns well next week, and we can move forward with some of these plans. But you know, I've said it. You know, I gotta be comfortable. I gotta make sure that I'm capable of competing at a higher weight class at the top level. You know, and to do that, I need to grow into that division. And I would really like to unify titles at 130 before moving up. But if the options are better at 135, then I'll just go ahead and jump up to 135 with the title there. Maybe unify titles there at 135. Or possibly even move up higher to 140 if the right fights are there and the options are available. You know, it's not always. I mean, it's not always easy to put the fights together. And in this business, you got to look at everything before you just move up in weight class.
Okay, so your thought though then is that when you do move up, you would at least make a stop at lightweight before you went all the way to 140, which was what was being said in some quarters about your moving up the weight scale.
Yeah, I think I would like to make a stop at 135, lightweight, full lightweight, and capture title there. You know, I feel like 135 would be a very good division for me as well. I mean, I'm going into that division really quick, and I think I can do something in the lightweight division.
Bob, are you there?
Yes.
Regardless of, you know, its next fight and what's coming down the road, when you look at Mikey Garcia and what he's accomplished over his last, 3 to 5 fights, when you look at him, is he, in your mind, a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter?
Yeah, I think I really believe he's a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter right now, and I believe that long-term, Mikey will challenge, if not be universally accepted, as the best pound-for-pound fighter in boxing.
What about his skills just in the last fights, from fight to fight, that you've seen that makes you say that?
I think he's a complete fighter. He has great technique. He has a very, very good defense, and he is a very powerful puncher. And when he throws his punches, it's with great intent. In other words, he doesn't waste a lot of punches. He measures his opponent and then throws his punches accordingly, with a lot of power. So he's a complete fighter, and he's getting better.
Mikey, I know you're going to probably take the diplomatic approach to this and say, it's up to the fans and all that. But when you go home at night, you think about what you've accomplished and the things you've gone out to prove, getting off the canvas in your last fight, finishing the guy off. Do you think right now that you have shown and demonstrated the skills to at least be considered among the top 10 pound-for-pound fighters in the world?
I think I got more to prove to be, in the list of top 10 pound-for-pound. I'm just starting, as a world champion. I still got more fights and more to prove. I had some really good victories last year, and I got to display, my skills to the fans. But everybody has their opinion, and I have to do my job. I'm not even paying much attention to, things like ratings and top 10 and pound-for-pound listings like that. I'm just doing my job one fight at a time.
Bob, I'd like your view of, I don't know if you heard the question I asked Mikey earlier about coming up to 130 and sticking around for the title win, and then this fight, and then moving on to a heavier weight class, which you've talked about a little bit as a possibility. Can you expound on that a little bit and where you think Mikey can go in terms of how high in weight and what you sort of see that schedule looking like?
It's one fight at a time. A lot of stuff is happening in boxing, and it happens really quick. Mikey is one of the few American superstars in boxing. You know, we have Mikey coming up there, Andre Ward, Floyd Mayweather, Timothy Bradley, and there's not many other Americans who qualify as superstars. So Mikey, I envisage, Mikey is taking on a lot of these non-Americans in really big international fights. And where that takes him, I'm not sure. In other words, does it take him up in weight to 135 and 140 and maybe a fight against Pacquiao? Or does it take him to a tremendous confrontation with Lomachenko? If Lomachenko proves himself with Salido and goes forward. Lomachenko, based on his amateur background, was the greatest amateur of all time. Will he be as successful in the pros? And if he is, will a guy like Mikey Garcia be his biggest fight? You know, a lot of stuff can happen. So we go one fight at a time. Whether he goes up, stays in weight, stays at 130, or goes up higher, that's going to depend on, you know, on what's happening in boxing.
I understand what you're saying. I would like you, when you thought about the thought about him moving up rather quickly over the next couple of fights, can you say, did you think of like seeing him against Pacquiao in the future? Or is that just a natural for any fighter that gets into those weight classes, you know, above 140 pounds? No,
Mikey was over, and he'll tell you himself, he was over in Macau when his stablemate, Brandon Rios, fought Pacquiao, and he indicated to various people that down the road he would look forward to a battle with Manny Pacquiao.
And you heard that and thought, hey, maybe that might be something good I can work on down.
Why wouldn't it be good?
I'm not saying it wouldn't be. I'm asking if that's what your thought was.
No, of course it was my thought. I mean, I'm a big Mikey Garcia fan.
Mikey, with all the controversy surrounding Ariza in your corner, what do you focus on when people try to judge you based on who's in your corner, not necessarily how you are in a fighter in or outside the ring?
I've heard, a lot of people complain or asking me to, get rid of him and maybe it's not the best option or whatever, but hey, it's working well for me. I like working with the guy. It's improving me, so why would I change that, Other things that people say about him, with me, he's shown nothing but a difference, so I wouldn't change the team right now for anything.
So should you move up to fight Pacquiao at 140 or whatever you want to do, catch weight at like 140 something, do you feel that having Ariza in the corner would be beneficial? Have you found a lot of progress in how he's not only made you as a fighter stronger, but do you feel that the weight's coming off easily and you're not losing as much power?
I feel really good working with Alex. You can see the results that he was when he was with Tecate. He helped him move up in division after division, and he kept dominating every single champion out there. And if we can work the same way with me, that only makes me a better fighter. And that's what we want. We want to make sure that we have the best team available to help me perform the best. I don't want to move up in weight class, just to be lazy and not train hard, or just to move up because I'm fat, overweight. I want to make sure that when I move up in weight is when I'm ready, when my body grows into that division. And I think that with Alex in my corner, in my team, will help me do that and achieve that a lot better than if he wasn't, with me.
Bob, you brought up earlier how you think Mikey's a superstar now and only getting bigger. How important is it for him to keep returning to Madison Square Garden in terms of that development?
Well, it's a small world now. The Garden, let's be honest, isn't as important as it was when I first started in boxing, where it was virtually the place to be. The place to be can be any place in the world, but it's nice for us to be able to bring a great fighter to Madison Square Garden in New York City.
did you indicate, this is a weight question, that you are now permanently, quote unquote, at the 130-pound level because you cannot go back to 26, and that's history? So from now on, you're going to defend and you're going to fight at 130 with the probability of moving up. As I see you growing up and getting stronger and bigger, I see you not too distant future challenging Danny Garcia. So is that the case now? You're staying at 130 and you're going to move up?
I feel really good right now at 130. Originally, I had thought I could probably come down to 126, and even in my last camp, everything went well, so easy. The weight came off so easy that I still feel that I could have made the 126 if I had to. But according to my trainer, Robert, my dad, Alex, and partially with my promotion with the Bob Arum and everybody in Top Rank, it seems like it's probably most likely that I'll stay at 130 or most likely move up to 135. I think, the plans of coming back to 126 are no longer there. There's a need for me to come back down, and I think we can look forward to better things at a higher weight class.
I see. You have been classified, at least through my circles, that you are a thinking man's fighter. By that I mean you're very cool, calculated, hard, punishing puncher. And one of the classic examples was when Rocky Martinez knocked you down flat. You didn't rattle. You got up and went to work. And eventually you went back and you knocked him out in the 8th round with a vicious left hook to the liver. Is that correct? Or because there is a comparison between you and Floyd Mayweather, who does the same thing. He doesn't study films. He goes into there, studies you the first 2 or 3 rounds, and then he goes to work. Mikey Garcia, I've seen, does the same thing. Is that true?
I do think a lot. I am a thinking fighter in the ring. I'm very patient, very calm. I'm looking for the right opportunities, the right punches. I'm not just looking for offensive tactics. I'm looking at defense. I'm paying attention to everything, and that just, allows me to be the fighter that I am. And I'm very calm. Even, like you said, even when I was down against Martinez, I was calm. The way that I tried to smile in my corner, went down and make sure they know that I'm okay. I got up and just, went back to work. Kept the game plan going. I don't get too excited either. I make sure that I stay focused on the game plan, and I do what I need to do to win the fight. And if I have to take another round or two to get adjusted to an opponent, I will do that. But it's always because I have to do it.
Mikey, any last comments before you head off to your media training?
I just want to say thank you everybody for showing all support, and we'll be looking forward to next week. Great show, great fights. I look forward to New York, and we come back with a good experience again, just like we have in the past, and I retain my world title like I plan on, and more than anything, just give a good fight to the fans. So for that, I thank everybody.
Thank you, Mikey. Bob, we'll the last words to you. Any last comments?
Yeah, I want to thank HBO for televising this fight and enabling us to present it to the public, both live at Madison Square Garden and on the screen by HBO. It also is coupled with another fight, the heavyweight fight between Jennings and Szpilka, and I understand from the attorney, Leon Margulis, for Szpilka, that he is very optimistic that Szpilka's will obtain his visa and will be coming to the United States this weekend. So I look forward to a great night at Madison Square Garden. A lot of young stars coming up to accompany this match. There's Felix Verdejo will be on the card. The dynamic fighter from Philadelphia, Jesse Hart, will appear on the card, and a number of other really good fighters. Shawnee Monahan is on the card, and it should be a terrific night of boxing at Madison Square Garden on January 25.
Thank you, Bob, and thanks for joining us. Just a reminder, Garcia Burgos, it's the World Junior Lightweight Championship taking place Saturday, January 25, televised live from Madison Square Garden on HBO at 9:45 p.m. Saturday, January 25th. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in New York next week.